talk about is a continuum of the subject we had talked about, is the extensive amount of lawyers that are out there after being awarded their JDs, passing the bar, and having very few places to go.
Right.
And we've talked about alternative, we talked about how I was on the committee to help Massachusetts furthering of legal education. And what I wanted to talk about is what some law schools are doing during law school and after to help the students get properly trained. And what's interesting is I was reading about schools in New York and schools in the Midwest, particularly, for example, Arizona State University, which is talking about having a virtual law firm. So under the supervision of professors, the school has actually started a law firm where students can work, not only clerk during law school, but work right after law school and gain experience in all different areas, from litigation to estate planning to contract and business work. And it's a really ambitious project. I think that they have 10 attorneys already involved. So not only is a school getting involved, but they're actually reaching out to the legal community, and they're actually employing mentor attorneys to really help these students who have recently graduated. Closer to home, we have Suffolk University, who's gotten creative themselves. So for example, Suffolk has different departments that are taking advantage of the Massachusetts Supreme Court ruling that allows professors of the law school, as long as they supervise and obviously are barred, to supervise law students so they can actually practice law and gain some experience. One recent article that was actually part of a Globe story, which talks about the tremendous IP litigation, intellectual property litigation, that is affecting startups.
Right.
And as you know, Jeff, because you deal with a lot of startups and incubator companies, that's really very difficult when you're talking about their intellectual property, because they first can get out with a patent or a trademark of a certain area, and immediately a large company can come after them if anything is confusingly similar or even close that might not affect the company's mark, or the company's being very aggressive. There are a lot of very aggressive companies with their intellectual property that don't necessarily affect their mark, but if the company sees it could potentially do that, they come after these startup companies and a lot of times shut that company down. So what Suffolk's done, in addition to providing a service for students to really practice IP law and really develop those skills, what they're also doing is they're helping startup companies, tech companies. And they give an example of one company that had a website in a certain area of exotic fish, and it was sort of called, a monster fish website. And the owner had the intellectual property of that, but then when it got very popular, started looking at T-shirts, so was going in a different category. And immediately, this monster drink company came after him because they said it potentially infringed on their design of a monster. And that company was faced with a lot of legal bills, which could cost them like $100,000 in legal bills, and they were caught between a rock and a hard place in trying to defend themselves. And along came a friend who said, listen, I hear Suffolk Law School has a program dealing with intellectual property. They can help you at no charge.